Hello world, welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. Hello world and welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. We're broadcasting live from the good old 4th District in Kentucky. We are in Boone County and I am here with you live today, reporting on the ground the most historic primary election in the history of the United States of America. We are here for Representative Thomas Massie, reporting on everything that is going down in this 4th District. I'm in Burlington, Kentucky, and it is the day before the most expensive primary election in the history of the United States of America, which is just unbelievable. Of course, we're broadcasting live from Rumble. We're live from Twitter. We are on Spreely TV, Roku TV, Apple TV, every podcast platform you can imagine. And of course, I am Shannon Joy, not left, not right, just the truth, straight up, no chaser. And this is shaping up to be an unbelievable situation here in Kentucky. And it's so great to be with all of you today. Be my Valentine. Great to see you, Mama C 1996. We're having a little bit of a slow start on Rumble just because I've started so late. Usually, as you guys know, we're starting around 12:15 p.m. But we've been, it's just been so insane here over the past couple days, working on just a few hours of sleep. We're working around the clock, trying to support Thomas Massie as he goes up against $25 billion in ads and smear campaigns dumped into this tiny district. Just an unbelievable experience. Be my Valentine. How are you doing in Kentucky? Well, it's been wild. As I mentioned, guys, we have about content creators here who have flown in on planes, trains, automobiles from all over the United States of America. Today, we're going to be talking to Erin Brantley. She is Logic Lives, and she is one of the organizers who has come in from Colorado. We have Matt Kibby joining us in just about a half an hour. He is a documentary filmmaker and obviously the founder of Free the People. But this is just an unbelievable situation on the ground here in the great state of Kentucky. There's a lot going on today, and we're going to be talking about, a bunch of things. We have story suppression, situation where so many mainstream news outlets, Make America Healthy Again, the medical freedom community, and also conservative media just not reporting on this. Essentially, they are suppressing the story. They are not telling the people what they need to hear. And it's crazy. Absolute crickets over on Fox News. We also have the regular attack dogs coming after Tom Massie, people like Laura Loomer and Mark Levin. It's just been absolutely incredible. But it's good to see all of you on the live chat. Again, just a huge number of amazing creators here. Ryan Matta, James Lee, Anna Matson, Matt Kibby, Bobby Sauce, who I interviewed at the rally a couple days ago. He's absolutely hilarious. Erin Brantley is going to be with us in just a minute. Ivan Rakin, Lauren Bobart came in. Rand Paul came in to join Tom Massie, Hunter Alexander, Dennis Jones, Tiffany Cianci, who's put this all together. We have the equivalent of, I think we've done over 5 million views in 24 hours of just independent creators, which is just so crazy. Guitar Lily, great to see you. Hey, y'all, Shannon. Amazing work you all are doing down there. Thank you so much. And I'm just going to go ahead. If you can guys just give me a moment, I'm going to retweet this. We are live on Twitter. And I'm going to retweet this. We're going to open the live video. I'm going to tag everyone who's here. And we're going to retweet that. If you guys are watching on Twitter, I would love to talk to all of you. I have the comment section open on Twitter. And so I'll be keeping an eye on that. Would love to see you. If you're watching on any of our platforms, Substack, YouTube, Twitter, make sure you leave a post, say hello. I want to see and talk to all of you. If you're watching on Rumble right now, guys, do me a favor. We started 45 minutes late today because I just did an interview with Maria Z that's going to be posted up on Vigilant Fox later today. That interview went about an hour, and so I was set back in everything, and so we're starting late today. And because of that, a lot of our normal viewers here on Rumble aren't seeing this. So if you guys can go over, smash that thumbs up button right now on Rumble. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button as well. If you like the show, leave a comment, say hello on the chat. We're beginning to build a little bit on Rumble, which is great. We have a lot more viewers. So just say hello. I want to see you on that live chat. You can ask me anything. We've been to multiple rallies. I had the privilege of joining Thomas Massie and his family at his home yesterday with a group of about a dozen influencers. We had dinner, we shared stories, we toured his property, we saw his home. I had the amazing opportunity to talk with his daughters and play with his grandchildren. His wife is absolutely amazing and accommodating. I was able to talk to their sisters, and you just get the sense, you know, when you see Thomas Massie in his own setting, in a home that is just full of love and just, you know, everything is just so genuine, you realize what a special gift he has been to not only the people of Kentucky in the 4th District, but also the people of America. You know, I had a long conversation with Maria Z today, along with Kristen Megan, who joined us. And, you know, we went through all of the areas that Tom Massie has blocked horrible things. I mean, when it was necessary to stand up against the lockdowns of 2020, Thomas Massie drove to Washington, D.C. He was the only member of Congress, both Senate and House of Representatives, to say no to lockdowns. People accuse him of being an obstructionist, but he obstructs in all the right ways. That's the Ohio River, by the way, and traffic is pretty light here, but every once in a while we are going to get a little bit of action. But when it came to saying no, you know, Tom Massie was the only guy to say no to lockdowns. He's the only guy to say no to immunity for big chemical. He's the only guy to say no to suppressing the release of the Epstein file. He's the only guy in the room saying no to debt and deficit spending. He's saying no to the military industrial complex, the medical industrial complex. When it matters, Thomas Massie is the guy that is obstructing in all the right ways. He's saying no to the data centers. He's saying no to immunity for data center construction and also artificial intelligence. When it matters, Thomas Massie is the guy on the ground standing up for us. And because of that, he is facing 25 million or more. It'll be 35 million by the end of this campaign, and it's just absolutely astounding. So we have a big show for you today. Erin Brantley is joining us right now. She's going to come on in. She is an amazing influencer, content creator out of Colorado. Her handle on Twitter is Logic Lives, and she is joining us. Come on in here, girl.
Get cozy.
And she has a huge platform. She's been kind of my ride or die over the past couple days. Erin and I mean, we've been to rallies. We've been to junkets. We've been to, you know, press releases, coffee houses, coffee shops, all over. How many hours have we driven?
I can't even count. I mean, yesterday alone was 5 hours at least, right?
Yeah, in the car. It was 2.5 hours to get to Representative Massie's home, and we spent a couple hours there, and then we were back really late. But Erin is an amazing advocate for liberty. She focuses on policy and policy that matters to the locals in their local communities. Like me, she is obsessed with localism, and she organizes and advocates in her home state of Colorado. And she's been doing amazing work here on the ground. So, Erin, tell everyone about your platforms, how many people you reach. She's a big star on a lot of platforms that I'm not on. And then we're going to talk about your thoughts and what you've seen on the ground and what is happening here in Kentucky. Again, historic, the most expensive primary election in the history of the United States of America. And the story is being blackballed on so many outlets, but people are beginning to pay attention, and it's likely because of what we've been doing here as content creators. So Erin, go ahead and tell everyone about your platforms and why you're here, and then get into what your thoughts are on what we're seeing on the ground.
Yeah, so I would consider myself a live streamer and political activist. That's my bread and butter. I also put out videos explaining legislation, breaking it down so you guys don't stare at this 23-page bill and wonder what the heck's in it. Right. I give you what matters, and also that way individuals can reach out to either whether it's U.S. Congress or state legislators to advocate for or against whatever they want to do. Also look into U.S. Supreme Court decisions, constitutionality of things, and have those discussions and just inform people. And then live streams, I like to have conversations with people opposite of the aisle with me. Right. We need to normalize that. Disagreement's not betrayal. We can learn from each other, and that's how we're going to come up with the best solutions.
Right.
And then at home, I have Independent Majority Colorado, where we are trying to give the politically homeless a place to come where we focus on accountability, transparency, small government, practical solutions, and we will attack legislation, committee decisions, ballot initiatives that fly in the face of that. Or if there's measures that are supporting that, we will mobilize our members to, in the ground game, to show up and show out for those things and have their voice heard. So
that's amazing. So you drove in, or did you fly in?
I flew in.
She flew in and left. You have a family.
I do.
And, so a lot of sacrifice from all of these content creators. Now, word on the street is that we're being paid to be here. So I have to ask you, Erin, are you taking cow money to be here in Kentucky to stand up?
I have had some really good steaks, some phenomenal steaks. So we have. I can't deny that. You guys have some incredible beef out here, but no, I came on my own dime, my own time, like you said, time away from my family. But when you believe in something, you don't have to be paid to advocate for it. You really don't.
Right. So why did you come out here? Tell me about what it was about Thomas Massie, this situation, what we're seeing, because you faced a lot of flack recently for coming out here. A lot of the content creators here were supporters of President Trump. So that is a very prevalent theme throughout everyone who is on the ground here. And for your principled stand, we just saw, the day before yesterday, Lauren Boebert flew out to Kentucky to stand with Tom Massie, President Trump, immediately from the Oval Office in all caps, sent a mean tweet to take her out. He now wants to primary her in her district for the crime of standing up for Thomas Massie. You've experienced a lot of pushback, and a lot of the creators here have experienced that. So what is it about what you're seeing here that makes you very willing to kind of take the slings and the arrows, even though it's difficult?
Yeah, I stand on my principles. I want Congress members who are pro-Constitution, who are for transparency, accountability, and they're not willing to dissent with their own party when their party is wrong, because both parties are capable of being wrong, and we need those dissenting voices who are principled.
Right.
And so regardless of what people are saying, I don't co-sign any other creators' ideas. We probably politically disagree on a lot of fronts, and we might agree on some things, but I'm responsible for my beliefs and my values, and I can clearly explain my intent in being here, and it's because I believe it. I think this is a fight for liberty, and I think this is a fight to say, you guys are no longer going to cast out these dissenting voices that we desperately need in Congress and buy them out.
Right. It's really outrageous. We have the usual suspects. One of the things on my agenda today was just to look at and I don't have it in front of me, but to look at the story suppression, the fact that some of the biggest quote unquote conservative outlets out there are not reporting on this historic election. Mm-hmm. Fox News is absent. Daily Wire is absent. The Blaze, for the most part, is absent. I'm glad that Matt Kibby is going to be with us today. He took a risk coming down here to stand up for Thomas Massie. We have some of the biggest voices in the Maha community. And this has been a source of great frustration to me. Medical freedom warriors. Mm-hmm. There was one guy, before it was cool to be Maha, before it was cool to reject the shots or the lockdowns, there was Thomas Massie alone in Washington, D.C., forcing a vote so that liberty didn't die in darkness. No other member of Congress, not another senator or another representative was there. But when we needed him, he stood up against the lockdowns. And the fact that the medical freedom community, which clearly made the decision to align with politicians, they got behind Bobby Kennedy Jr. as he ran with Donald Trump. They gave Donald Trump the presidency based on a platform that included, we thought, medical freedom. And now today, as I'm looking out at a lot of the voices, and I let loose on Maria Z tonight on this topic, I'm frustrated because there are huge platforms within the medical freedom community, and they're not saying anything, and they could help him right now. What are your thoughts on that?
I think you just need to take note of who's jumping on the hate train, and a lot of the attacks for Ed's side, there's no substance to them. There's not policy discussions around them. And there's disappointment I have with some very large figures on the right that just aren't saying anything.
Right.
And again, I don't believe in that. Like we've got, I think Anna Paulina Luna hasn't come out and endorsed Massey. She refuses to do so. And I know she stands with him on a lot of his principles. That's just one example. I agree with a lot of what she does.
Right.
But I think this is an important stand. And so take note of those individuals. But also, I mean, can you blame them? Look at the attacks Massey's receiving simply for dissenting. And that's what's so dangerous about this tone that is being set, because all you're going to do is quiet people more. Our representation is going to get worse and worse. We have a 10% Congress approval rating.
Right.
And so that's what worries me. And I mean, again, I can't fault them because look at what's happening to Massey, but I so respect the brave individuals standing in this fight for Massey, for constitutional principles, transparency, accountability, and someone who truly wants to represent the American people.
Today we're talking to Erin Brantley. She's going to be a good friend of the Shannon Joy Show for forevermore. I think we've trauma bonded over our experience.
In the trenches.
And driving in the car with Tiffany Cianci. I'm not going to say a word about that. I'm just, imagine being on Kentucky roads and the hills and like
the curves.
You're cornering on rails with her. I mean, white knuckled.
It's her racetrack.
Now, Tiffany Cianci is the woman. If you've seen a red-headed firecracker with a raspy voice, hosting all sorts of platforms and organizing, they've been writing us up now. It's beginning to get pushed up. By the way, this Creators Coalition is now generating 5 million views a day. We have moved this election percentage points. So internal polling showing that we have changed the conversation and Massey is pulling ahead by a few points. It's still very, very close. So the get out the vote operation is in full swing. But Tiffany Cianci is really the brain behind this entire organization. 30 content creators, in a house fighting for Tom Massey. I feel like it's real world New York again.
It could be a reality show.
There
probably.
are people on couches. They're on the floor. We have minivans of people being shipped to door knock and attend rallies and create content. And it's just this machine. What do you make of everything that we're seeing? I've never seen anything like it.
No, I think it's revolutionary.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that lightly. I know that's a strong word. And Tiffany Cianci, the force that she is, and the appreciation and respect that she deserves, I hope she receives.
Yeah.
And I am so grateful for what she has done here, because again, these are people from across the political spectrum.
Right.
And we are in a room because we believe in the mission, and we may believe in the mission for different reasons.
Right.
But what matters is we agree there and we're able to come together as a coalition and do something truly groundbreaking.
Right.
And I think this is just the beginning of what we're doing.
That is what everyone has been talking about. All of the bad guys are taking note. They don't know what to make of this renegade rebel force of influencers and content creators coming down on our own dime. Like, they just don't understand that. Political people don't do anything unless they're getting paid. And that's why many times the worst of the worst work in politics and work in Washington, D.C., because it's all about the money. It's all about the power. Mm-hmm. It's all about leverage. It's all about, securing a power center for yourself or your coalition. And so when people do things because they believe in it, and they do things for free, and they do things to help just their fellow humans or a fellow human who is really deserving, a person like Thomas Massey, they don't know what to make of this. And so this makes them go harder and harder. And so in terms of paying attention regarding this suppression, Maha, I'm looking at you. Medical freedom warriors, I'm looking at you, those of you with huge platforms. Join us. We are on the right side of history, and we're going to make history tomorrow. We're going to change the way campaigns are conducted. We're going to change the way media reports on campaigns. We're going to show that independent influencers, not left, not right, can go up against legacy media, the titans of media, left-wing news media, right-wing news media, Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, all of them. And we can make a difference. We already have.
100%. Like if we weren't doing something substantial or if we weren't effective right now, you would not see the insane reaches and dramatic attacks that they have had to just fabricate against not even just Matthew, but against us as creators.
Absolutely.
It's reeking of desperation because again, if they truly had substance, we'd be talking about policies. We'd be talking about what a great candidate Ed is.
Right.
And how strong he is and what
Right.
he's accomplished. There's none of that. It's all about like you're associated with that. It's baseless, shallow attacks.
Yeah, the hit pieces are coming out, and some of the most disgusting attempts to really smear Tom Massey's character and to harm his family. Laura Loomer, Cat Turd, the usual suspects. I think Mark Levin recently came out bashing Tom Massey. And what's unique about this particular smear campaign is that they are using deep fakes, AI. They invented a scandalous sex scandal that didn't exist, that was a complete nothing burger, which didn't gain any legs because it was completely false.
It's ridiculous.
But they actually ran in Kentucky television ads targeted to elderly people on Fox News or platforms like Fox News, targeting the 65 plus audience using AI and tricking them into believing that Tom Massey was having affairs with Alexander Ocasio-Cortez and another left
Ilhan Omar.
And Ilhan Omar, right? And so in very tiny, tiny letters on the corner, it said, this commercial is generated by AI. But we all know that elderly people and boomers have no idea that it's AI. They think that he actually did. I mean, it's just so disgusting.
It's so low. And I think that's what I appreciate about this group is we're not going back like with personal attacks, but we're on a mission. And we are here to show the true man and candidate that Thomas Massey is and why he is so important and why he needs to remain in Congress. And I am so proud of each and every one of us and the courage it took and the conviction it took to come down here and create this coalition. I am so excited about what's to come. And I truly just hope we cement this all and wrap it all up in a really pretty bow to piss everyone off so much with a victory tomorrow night.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very close, but I will tell you, from my perspective, we're talking, we have teams deployed on the mean streets of Kentucky, going door to door, man on the street interviews. I love the work of oh my gosh, why am I True Love? All right, she's on Twitter. We also have Hunter Alexander, and she's been talking to constituents on the ground in. Let's wait a moment. That's the Ohio River, by the way. We're live in Burlington, Kentucky.
On the ground.
Super secret location on the ground. Again, 15 content creators in this house alone jammed in. Communal living in a lot of ways. It's really, really interesting, but we're all getting along and everyone's just really great. And then we have another house where a bunch of other ones are set up, but it's very, very cool. LT Oracle of Truth. If Massey loses, they fixed it. Hey, we had a discussion about that. I want to get your thoughts. There were people expressing concerns about the potential to steal this election. And as I mentioned, the energy on the ground, the man on the street interviews are overwhelmingly in favor of Tom Massey, like 5-0, right? You talk to 5 people who say they're going to vote, and all 5 of them are like, we're voting for Tom Massey. We don't even know who Ed Gallarine is. You're driving, through the mountains of Kentucky, and you see 100 Tom Massey signs for one Ed Gallarine sign. So there's something very wonky and weird with the polling. We're going to be talking about Polymarket in just a minute because they're engaging in a suppression campaign, which I'll explain to you. So there's something funny happening with the polling. The polling doesn't seem to be reflecting the will of the people, but it is very reflective of the older generation, 65 plus, versus all the other generations under 65. So Gen Xers, Gen Y, millennials, Zoomers, whatever they are. What are your thoughts on that? What have you seen? And we've had a lot of discussions about that, but what have you seen in terms of the generational divide here that is becoming so crystal clear to us as we are out in the field here in Kentucky?
Yeah, and I have to end it on this one, but what I will say is that's why we are so vital, because we are reaching our platforms are exactly where the younger generations are going for information and are going to see what's going on and learn. And the older boomers, the 65 plus, they're on Fox News. Right. That's where they are. They're in the legacy media. That's all they're seeing. They're not exposed at the level that the younger generations are. Right. And so what I do want to say to anyone in Kentucky District 4, go vote tomorrow. Right. Doesn't matter what Polymarket says. I know you're going to get in that next. Yes. Doesn't matter what the polls say. Your vote absolutely matters. There are races decided by 26 votes. Right. So to think that it doesn't, you're doing yourself a disservice. And I encourage everyone, no matter how you're going to vote, go vote tomorrow. Right. And find someone, take them with you, and go vote. Also, MasseyMoneyBomb.com. Thomas has gone into debt to try to battle the billionaire forces waging this war against him. Again, $25 million that they have dumped into this campaign. By the end of the day tomorrow, it'll be $35 million, the most expensive congressional primary event in the history of the United States of America. This is going to shape discourse, policy, media, and elections for the next 20, 30 years. Mm-hmm. So in that sense, Erin, we've already won. I'm going to let you go. I know that you have to go and do your show. Tell everyone where they can find you, your biggest platforms. And guys, make sure that you're following Erin on Twitter. Her handle is @LogicLibs, and she is a pit bull in the debate space. She's famous for just like logic and rational thinking, common sense, and just taking down the propagandists. You're amazing at what you do, but go ahead and tell the audience where they can find you and how they can support you. Sure thing. So TikTok is my largest platform, and that's where I live stream weeknights at 6 p.m. Eastern. Erin Brantley or Logic and Liberty, you can find me under both. Instagram, same as TikTok, and then like you mentioned, X. Those are my 3 primary platforms. Amazing. Unbelievable. Okay, Erin, thank you so much. Okay, out you go. And we have a bunch of stuff lined up today for you guys. Matt Kibby is in the house. He's going to be with us in just a moment. We're going to be talking to him, a good friend of Thomas Massey's. Let me get centered here. And really amazing, he is up here to support Thomas. As you know, Matt Kibby, a libertarian. He's been very, very consistent in his positions, and he's going to have a lot to say about what is happening here. So keep it tuned right here. I'm going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Matt Kibby. Keep it tuned right here. Let's go. But I do want to talk about parasites. So as you know, there's been a big medical hack of 2025. Everyone's talking about parasites. In fact, my husband, devastatingly handsome Dr. Joy, was recently talking about parasites as well. It's one of those topics that just has not made its way into the mainstream conversation about why we get sick. Right? You go to the doctor and it's either a virus or a bacteria, or a virus, but you never hear a doctor ever saying, well, maybe it's a parasite, right? So there's a lot of emerging research on this. And one of the best thing that happened in 2025 was several peer-reviewed studies that identified direct connections between anti-parasitic medications having off-label benefits, fighting a variety of cancers. Okay. So this makes a lot of sense. The connection between tumor growth and parasites has been known for years. Now, while currently the CDC remains silent, they have admitted, finally, that millions of Americans are suffering from parasitic infections that often go undetected or undiagnosed. This is why Dr. Peter McCullough, Chief Scientific Officer over at the Wellness Company and the world's most published cardiologist, says, quote, these studies make a clear case to do at least one medical grade parasite cleanse every single year. And the TWC parasite cleanse is the real deal. This is not your mother's cleanse. This is not some supplement. This is an amazing product.
It is the Wellness Company's proprietary USA compounded ivermectin plus membendazole. It is a doctor-prescribed gold standard combination dose, and it's designed to help the body eliminate parasites plus a lot of other incredible benefits. Each bottle contains 90 capsules, and it's enough to complete a 21-day cleanse. So the formula cannot be found at your local pharmacy. There's no equivalent out there. But the Wellness Company removes all of that red tape by making the process fully digital. So all you have to do is fill out a quick intake form. A doctor will review the form, and your medical grade parasite cleanse will arrive to you within a week. So this is a once a year cleanse. It is worth every penny, and it's time for people to get healthy and pay attention to the parasites. So head to twc.health/joy right now. twc.health/joy. That is my landing page. If you use the promo code JOY, that's JOY, they're going to take $60 off your parasite cleanse. Plus, they're going to give you free shipping. That is only at twc.health/joy. That is twc.health/joy. Annie has popped up the QR code in the corner of the screen. You can click on that or just hover your phone over it to go right to my site and enjoy a very special gift for the SJ audience, $60 off plus free shipping on every order when you use the JOY promo code. And by the way, use the JOY promo code every time you shop at TWC. If you're already plugged in, you're already using some of their products, make sure you use that JOY code so they know I sent you. I am so proud to be working with Peter Schiff and Schiff Gold in 2026. There is no one that I would trust more to send this audience to in terms of a metals strategy. Whether it's your gold and silver physically that you purchase and keep in your home or in a safety deposit box, gold and silver in an IRA, which you can do through Schiff Gold, or even investing in gold mining stocks, which Peter Schiff and his team can also help you with. It is time to get that metals strategy in place. Right now, silver and gold are soaring. Silver is approaching $85 an ounce, while gold is up over $45 an ounce. And people don't see this stopping anytime soon. I know it seems expensive to you, but I don't know that there is a cap to this in the near future. So you can get started now. I want to encourage you guys right now to go to schiffgold.com/joy. That is schiffgold.com/joy. Everything that you need, Peter's analysis, market reports, research reports. You can get plugged into his investment services, physical gold and silver, which we're going to be talking about this month, and also protecting your retirement with a gold or silver IRA. It's all right there at your fingertips on my page, schiffgold.com/joy. Welcome back, everyone, to the Shannon Joy Show. And I have some issues with my camera. So I'm going to see if I can get LJ. Hey, LJ, do you mind? The camera shifted. We're broadcasting live. I'm Shannon Joy. We're on all the platforms. Why does it keep moving like that? Am I moving it? Do I keep moving? Am I moving around too much? I do get I'm very excitable. I talk with my hands and I'm all over the place. So maybe I keep bumping my camera. But all right, you want to go ahead and close that though? And I think we're good. All right. Thank you so much. Oh, is Matt here? Okay, good. All right, guys, we're broadcasting live. We are on Twitter. We're on Rumble. It's great to see all of you on the live chat. A lot of you chatting. I love seeing your faces. We started late on Rumble today. Usually we have a really good following on Rumble. We'll have at least 200, maybe 300 live viewers. We started late today. So if everyone watching right now, if you're on Rumble, please give us a thumbs up, make a comment. If you are in the live chat, make sure you say hello. I want to talk to you. I see you, Silver Country. Thank you so much for your contribution. I really appreciate you. And yeah, we have a lot to talk about today. We are on the ground here in the great state of Kentucky, the 4th District. And we have Matt Kibby. He is in the house. Come on in. You want to bring? Yeah, come on in. Yeah, we're good. Hey there.
Hey.
How are you doing?
What an idyllic spot.
You're right on time. You know, it's a little warm. It's a little cozy right here,
Yeah.
but you know, we do, like, I didn't want to be inside on such a beautiful day. We've got the Ohio River behind us. It's crazy. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome.
You're great. I love it when, you know, my guests are prompt, and it was a pretty long ride for you. So I appreciate you coming out here.
Yeah, like this, I never knew just how long and narrow all the way across the northern part of Kentucky Thomas's district is.
It's a massive district. I was talking to Erin in the last segment, and I think we were in the car yesterday for 5 hours. We've been to so many towns and villages throughout Kentucky, and yeah, I think end to end, it's over 3 hours, maybe more.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful, though. And
it's gorgeous. I was enjoying the ride. I like to drive in God's country.
Yeah,
you know?
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Matt, you are such a good friend and such a patriot, like standing for principle. Massey has come under enormous amount of attack for standing up for the truth, defending his constituents, defending the truth. And so many people have abandoned him. They're not discussing this story. They're not even talking about it. We're seeing blackballing in a lot of conservative media outlets, which is just crazy. But you're taking a stand. You came down here to be with him. You were with us yesterday at his home for just an amazing gathering. I don't think I've ever experienced anything like that. All of these independent content creators with huge followings, people I've never even heard of. It shows how media is becoming decentralized and democratized. That's what struck me. You're a media guy. You're in all of this. That is what struck me about what's happening here. You know, people that I've never heard of with, you know, millions and millions of followers in the liberty space. And when we come together, we're making a real impact. What are your thoughts about what it's said? There are a lot of, you know, storylines here in Kentucky, but what is sticking out to you? I'm going to give it over to you for a little while so you can go.
Yeah, so I did Thomas's breakfast event this morning, and I can tell you, and I was talking to various activists who are not only voting for Thomas, but doing the hard work of convincing their neighbors. And they were saying exactly what you're saying, that the energy and the values-based community that's driving Thomas's campaign absolutely drives the other side crazy.
Right.
Because their whole model is top down. They're going to dictate us from the top down. They're going to tell us what we're allowed to think, what we're allowed to do, what we're allowed to see, and they're spending as much money as humanly possible to blow Thomas out of the water.
Right.
But that model is old school, and the new school model drives them crazy because, like, they can go after any one of us individually, and they always do.
Right.
But it's like whack-a-mole. How are you going to stop a decentralized community of communicators that are doing this for free, for a set of values? They're animated by principles, and I think that's a new thing in politics. I don't think they know what that is. So when they accuse us of being paid, it's because obviously it's a cynical attack, but it's because they're being paid, and they know that they wouldn't do it unless they were being paid. So.
Right.
I was so jazzed after this morning's event because the energy on the ground is with the good guys. It's with Thomas.
It really is. What do you make of the polling? Because it's very weird. I was telling the audience, I've driven across Kentucky. I now know I've been to every moment of Thomas Massey's district, right, in a car. And so we see a lot of signs. For every 100 Massey signs, there's one Ed Gallerin sign. We're having man on the street interviews. True Love is going door to door and having these just amazing conversations with real Kentuckians in their front yards. And we have Hunter Alexander on the ground doing man on the street interviews. And it's like 5 to none. He interviews 5 people who say they're going to vote. Who are you voting for? Tom Massey. So there is such, from what we're seeing on the ground, Ed Gallerin is getting 7 people to his rallies. Thomas Massey is just busting at the seams at every event. So there is a complete disconnect from what we are seeing in the polls, the somewhat legitimate ones, the internal ones, and even real clear politics, from what we're seeing on the ground. And then we can talk about Polymarket in a minute, because that's completely distorted. People need to know about that, because that's distortion, suppression, and a pump and dump all in one with what's going on Polymarket. But we'll get to it. But what are your thoughts on that disconnect? Like, what does that mean?
So I was talking to activists this morning because they're also worried because the polls look tighter than it doesn't feel right if you're on the ground with all that energy.
Right.
And I remember you're too young to remember this, but in 2010, I was a Tea Party activist.
Okay.
And everybody, the collective wisdom was that we couldn't take the House. And the Tea Party movement was all the energy. It was all on the ground. It was neighbor to neighbor. It was door to door. And all the polling and all the experts and the political committees, no one took us seriously. And then you had this seismic turnout on election day. Right. So everybody was wrong.
Right.
And there's a lot of technical reasons why polling doesn't really work anymore, because it can't capture passion. You're going to get certain people to respond that are going to be inclined to say certain things. There's also people that I think people who voted for Donald Trump. They don't want to feel bad about that, but they're also going to vote for Thomas Massie.
Right.
So the question is, feel a little guilty about that? You're afraid your friends are going to judge you for that. So I wouldn't. This is a tight race, and I don't want to tell anybody otherwise, but I wouldn't put too much stock into the actual legitimate polls, because I think there's a lot of reasons why polling as a technology just isn't the thing anymore. It's got to be it's anecdotal evidence. It's about going to the events and saying, okay, who's actually motivated to show up? Right.
You mentioned the Tea Party, and I was discussing my decision to come down here, my conversation with my husband, because as you all know, I'm leaving my 3 kids, 2 days in the car, 8-hour drive, 5 days on the ground. So this is the longest I've ever been away from my family, which is insane. It's the first time in 13 years of hosting the Shannon Joy Show that I've gotten behind a national candidate. As an independent, I just haven't done it because I've never seen one worth getting behind. And that's really the reason. So that's a first for me as well. But I said to my husband, devastatingly handsome Dr. Joy, I said, listen, I don't know what I'm going to get into. I'm driving to Kentucky. Staying in a house feels like Real World, an episode of Real World, like 15 people in a house creating content for Thomas. It's like the weirdest thing. And I said, but you know what? I said, listen, if I get there and I get a vibe, I will get right back in my car and drive 8 hours back, and I know the vibes. I've been to CPAC. I've been to political things, and you just get a vibe that it's snaky, it's corrupt, it's just not good. And the second I came in to this house and all of the influencers and content creators who have come through, just amazing, are so good. And I know everything eventually gets corrupted in a sense. You're the guy to talk to about that. That's what I'm leaning to. Because just because movements can become corrupted doesn't mean you don't stop going for them. Right. But does this remind you of Tea Party?
It reminds me of 2 things. It reminds me of the Ron Paul revolution.
Okay.
Which, by the way, bled right into the Tea Party. Ron Paul in 2008, all the way through 2012. The early Tea Party organizers were more Ron Paul, more libertarian. It got bigger and bigger. We got a broader and broader community. There's a sense of belonging when a movement has not been corrupted. And early on, it's pure, it's beautiful, and you suddenly are best friends and family members with people you've never met before.
Right.
So that's what's going on here.
Yeah.
This is why I'm optimistic, because I've been there before, and I've seen what genuine social movements can do against, like, everybody like the old thing that supposedly Gandhi said, but maybe he didn't say.
Someone just rolled in.
Yeah,
one of the young whippersnappers just rolled in.
Oh yeah, they're troublemaker right there.
It's Tiffany.
Right.
We've been talking about have you been in a car with Tiffany Cianci?
I have not.
Oh my gosh, don't get in a car with Tiffany Cianci. Okay, like
the music or the driving?
The music, the driving. I mean, 65 miles an hour in these corner. It's unlike anything.
You don't want to drive with me then, because I do the same thing.
Well, I'm anesthetized to it now. Like I get in there and I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. But we were talking about, what were we talking about? Oh, the Tea Party and the vibe, and it makes you optimistic.
The sense of family and the sense of belonging, and we can talk about how movements get corrupted, but I think Thomas Massey himself has said, this isn't really a campaign, this is a movement.
Right.
And there's an important distinction because it's not about politics. It's not about just being another Republican vote for whatever it is they're going to do. It's about defending a set of values that animate a movement, and it's a beautiful circle that feeds itself.
Right.
And the more people, and I think this happened last night, there were influencers there who had never met Thomas.
Right.
And they're like, he's actually the guy I thought he was.
Yeah.
Who
Seriously.
knew? Like, particularly in politics, like as you know, I have Thomas on my show quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I also don't have very many politicians on my show because the thing I hate about politicians is even the good ones, the good guys in danger quotes, they'll tell you what you want to hear instead of telling you the truth.
Right.
Or they'll memorize something. Like poor Ed Gowron can't even memorize his talking points. He's such a you want to say he's out of central casting, but he's not really because he can't memorize the lines. At least on the Truman Show, the guy knew what to say until he got red-pilled.
Well, a lot of people are saying that that's kind of the point. Let's get into why. What are the motivations? Why $25 million in this district? That, the organization very heavily aligned with AIPAC and Israel, but also aligned with Big Pharma, Big Tech, Big Global, the Uniparty, the rhinos, that type. It's like this dark, like evil coalition of all of these terrible influences that have just descended on this one space, to drop a nuke on, Thomas Massey as a political figure.
Yeah.
From your perspective, what are the motivations? We've had a lot of discussions about the why, but what do you think in that area?
Well, the obvious motivation is interests that are interested in being Israel first instead of America first.
Right. Okay.
There she is.
Here she is. The redheaded tsunami.
Sorry, I didn't know you were outside.
Deliciousness.
I'm sorry.
She's hilarious. That's a nebulizer. It's not, the ganja or whatever. They're gonna think you're like,
my tumors.
It's she has we're using our voices a lot,
Right.
And so she's nebulizing. But she's great. We're gonna have her on in a minute.
And we're not saying for sure that there's not other things going on in there. We don't know.
You never know.
We don't know.
You never know. Tiffany.
I was thinking about this. You do the concentric circles of the things that animate Thomas Massey, and it could be liberty, it could be Maha, it could be what Doge was supposed to be, fiscal responsibility, not wasting money. It could be free speech. All of those things hold together the movement that is Thomas Massey. On the other side, you think about the military-industrial complex, you think about Israel first, you think about the COVID industrial complex and the censorship apparatus. All of those things are kind of the same thing. It's a machine where all of their interests in power and the ability to start more wars, this all comes together. So I think it's a perfect storm for Thomas because he's against everything that they want.
Right.
And as he said this morning, he's a thorn in their side, not because he can stop everything, he can't, but because he exposes everything and he exposes his colleagues who know they're making the wrong vote. They know they're doing the wrong thing. They'll even come up to him and whisper and say, I know I should do the right thing, but I'm afraid.
Oh, gosh.
So it's they have to stop him. And by the way, this is that the stakes couldn't be higher because if they stop him, basically foreign interests have purchased the Republican Party.
Right.
And they've already done this with the Democratic Party. Before they dropped this bomb on Thomas Massey, they went after two, they were like squad members kind of thing, where their only sin in Democratic politics is that they weren't going to rubber stamp whatever Israel wanted. So that's the important thing to know here is they're pretending to be Republicans right now.
Right.
But they could just as easily, if they think they can pull it off, they might finance his Democratic opponent in the general.
Unbelievable.
That's the game.
Unbelievable. I wouldn't even be surprised if they did that. This has been very, very informative in terms of exposing people. Yeah. Right. There's the people we thought are the people that we thought were on our side. Right. And it's in a variety of ways. Some just won't talk about it. So essentially paid not to play.
Yeah.
Some, and so they're just sitting it out. Others are deciding to stand up and speak out.
Yeah.
You, Rand Paul, Lauren Boebert. By the way, Lauren is now under attack from the President of the United States of America. He's threatening to run a similar type of campaign against her for the crime of standing up for Thomas here in Kentucky.
Someone should tell him that the filing deadline was 2 months ago, by the way.
Right. Yeah, exactly. The hubris of these guys is absolutely ridiculous. But so then
Warren Davidson showed up. I mean, there was a good test to see who had the guts to show up for Thomas. I'm forgetting, what's the other?
Matt Gaetz.
Congresswoman from
Lauren Boebert.
Indiana.
Congresswoman from Indiana.
Who just posted something with Ozzy Osbourne's.
I didn't see that.
Shoot.
Yet. All right, we'll get it.
I'm having an old man moment.
That's okay.
Remember.
We'll get it. The camera moved again. I keep bumping this thing and the camera keeps moving. Well, but then we also have, so I would just say, for everyone watching.
Spartz,
okay.
Congressman Spartz.
Okay. For everyone watching, this is just a real opportunity. And that's not to say that you dismiss these people as never to be trusted again because they're sitting on the sidelines. It irritates me, to be honest.
Yeah.
I just wish people could be courageous, but I understand that they're not. And we just have to deal with that. But, I think this is a good opportunity, though, for Americans to discern, who are your top, media people that you're going to trust, that you're going to go to for information, because that's always my litmus test.
Right.
The people who come on my show are and this is how I choose my guests. And my guest list always changes because sometimes people are courageous and then they get close to power and then they change and then they don't come on my show anymore,
Yeah.
But my litmus test, I want to find people who are at the top of their field in terms of expertise, whether it's geopolitics, foreign policy, domestic policy, healthcare, national defense, you name it. I'm scouring to look for people who know what they're talking about. But the second thing that I look for is people who are courageous enough to stand up when no one else is and tell the truth. Thomas Massie did that in 2020 when he came to Washington, D.C., drove to Washington, D.C. by himself to force a vote to lock down the country. He's the only one who did it. And, that's my litmus test for content, creators that I work with and guests on the show. What are your thoughts on that in terms of an audience, Americans who want information, right? They want the truth, but it's just so hard to find it in a sea of propaganda and cowardice and even blatant attacks. And we'll talk about the attack dogs in a moment and Polymarket. But your thoughts there, what can people do to find good sources, in your opinion?
Well, this is, as you said, this is a good test. And my joke about all these big MAGA influences is that they're really good, except when it matters.
Yes.
And that's the game they play. Like, think about the Epstein files and think about, we don't have to name names, but everyone knows who we're talking about.
Right.
Just beating their chest again and again and again. We gotta deal with these guys. We gotta put those pedophiles in jail, blah, 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 blah. And then somebody actually does it.
Right.
After their guy flips 180 overnight. Like, why are we still talking about the Epstein files? So
right.
I think it's a good test to see who's serious, because if you actually want to beat the machine that we're talking about,
right,
it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
You're going to have to spend some sweat equity. You're probably going to spill some figurative blood, hopefully just figurative blood,
right,
doing what's right. And you're going to lose followers, and you're probably not going to get as many clicks, and maybe you lose a couple sponsors. But if you're not paying a price for doing the right thing, you're not actually probably doing the right thing.
Right.
And the flip side of that is people that do the right thing. And I think Thomas Massie is a perfect example of this. There is an upside. There is a payoff for going through that meat grinder and standing firm on principle, which is why, like I mentioned, the Ron Paul revolution. I think Thomas Massie, it's going to be different because the issues are different, and those elements that I was talking about from Maha to free speech absolutists, they're different. But that energy is only there because he's already paid the price.
Right. Well, and I wish that people, I've consulted with politicians over the years, and they never take my advice. ever, because I tell them to be themselves and tell the truth, right? I tell them to take the pain. I say, listen, because I've experienced it. I've had a show for 13 years. I've been deplatformed 4 or 5 times, primarily because I have never, ever supported Trump. So I was Trump opposition from day one. I'm in New York. I made my assessment and I stuck to it. I think I've been proven a little bit right in some ways. But what I've learned is
maybe because you saw him all those years, so you knew
I saw him
what we were getting.
Yeah, and I made that statement. I am a little stubborn too. I gotta be honest. At the time, I wonder if at the time.
Do you guys believe that she's stubborn?
Just a little bit.
I don't think so.
Just a little bit. But at the time, after he came down the golden escalator, I really didn't think he was going to win. Honestly, I didn't think he was going to win the primary, right? I'm like, and then I really didn't think, here she's good. You can come in a minute, girl. You come sit with us. Okay, amazing. Oh, yeah, it'll be so much fun.
Okay.
We're going to go on to Kim Iverson at 3 p.m., which is going to be amazing. So it's going to be a long media day, I think. I was on with Maria Z earlier this morning, and then obviously we're doing our live, and then we're going to go on with Kim Iverson. So make sure you guys tune in on that. But what was I saying? Oh, about being stubborn. Was I right? Or if I had known that the Trump thing was going to go on for over a decade and that everyone who aligned with him was going to get filthy, ridiculously rich and that I was going to literally be blackballed for my entire career. I don't know if I would have been, I don't want to act like I'm all that virtuous. Okay.
There is a better compensating point of view.
Right.
It's AKA, it's called selling out. Right. We were doing a Rand Paul for President Super PAC at the time.
Okay.
And I also committed the sin of not taking Trump as seriously as I should have.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get it at first, for sure.
Right.
I see. I saw a note there from somebody. It disappeared in the scroll, but said that Charlie Kirk was Tea Party. I don't know if people know this, but Charlie Kirk, as a high school student, started organizing Tea Party events, protests, and that's how I first met him. So it's absurd that anyone wants to argue that Charlie Kirk would not support Thomas Massie, because he obviously would. I had a conversation with him a couple months before he's murdered, and we talked about Thomas.
Wow.
So it's all BS. But I think the good guys are going to win.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a real seismic shift in our politics, because it's going to free up other people. Maybe there's influencers who just kept quiet, and let's give them a mulligan. Come on board.
There we go.
We can do this again.
You can do the right thing. Just do it. Well, I want to talk about that. What does it look like? Because there has been a lot of discussion. And guys, I promise I'll fix my camera when we go to break. Like, I kick the chair and then the camera goes like this. There's been a lot of discussion. I mean, we're all kind of a little shell-shocked about the impact that we are having as a group, the creators that have come down here to stand not just for Thomas Massie, but against this coalition of oligarchs and billionaires and controllers.
It's a proxy war for something much bigger.
Right, exactly. And we're a little bit like, whoa, if we pull this off, right? Like for free, and we take them out, 25 million dumped in this district, such a long shot. It's such a David and Goliath type of battle. What does it mean if we actually win? Like, what changes in your perspective? You're a policy analyst. You've been watching culture and politics for years. You've been part of some of the most cultural shaping movements in the country. What does it mean for the next 20 years, 30 years?
I think the sky's the limit. If you think about when we organized as Tea Partiers, Facebook was a brand new thing. And the tech that we used was comically primitive to what we did today. But that exponential effect of people connecting directly with people was a thing in the new media world, despite the censorship industrial complex, despite all of the attacks. You have to think that the sky's the limit.
Right.
Because you have an ability, and this is why I do what I do for a living when I'm not politicking for Thomas Massie. We have an ability to reach everybody. And at least everybody that's online, which is everybody.
Everybody.
And you have an ability to talk to people who don't think they're conservative, they don't think they're libertarian, they certainly don't think they're Republican. We have an ability to talk to audiences that we would have never been able to touch before. Mm-hmm. So when we win this and you take those different coalitions that have come together to defend Thomas Massie, we need to think aggressively and expansively about what we do with that opportunity, because it's either Ron Paul 2.0, it's Tea Party 2.0, whatever the metaphor is you want, but it's not the same. It's different.
Right.
It's bigger and it's more powerful, and I think that's why they're trying to do everything. Just run the kitchen sink at this thing.
Yes, they are.
They know that if they lose, it opens up the floodgates of liberty, and I'm there for it.
Let's go. Like it would be so incredibly amazing to accomplish something like this. There's even discussion about if he loses and if they steal it, if there are shenanigans. You know, he spoke extensively at a breakfast meeting yesterday that I was in attendance at about that. He was very confident with the system here in Kentucky. Yeah. And they have paper balloting along with it's fed into an electronic machine. And there are mechanisms in place that he's pretty confident in. He says, maybe there'd be a little bit of cheating, but, from my perspective, he's not worried about that. Well, if that happens, I guess that's a bridge we'll cross. But if there's a loss, I don't even necessarily think it's as big a loss as we think it is. Of course, we'll lose Thomas Massie as a representative in Congress, but we're not going to lose Thomas Massie as a human being. Right. And we're not going to lose the people who are here who have now created a coalition in goodwill that is securely, so many different perspectives here and voices, young, old, male, female. It's just amazing. But everyone here loves liberty. Yeah. Everyone loves liberty. We want discourse. We want freedom. And so in the event of a loss, where do you think we go from here?
So I have this view that Thomas Massie losing and Trump winning is actually worse for the Trump coalition, for the Republican Party, for the Trump presidency.
Wow.
Because he just blew up for good the coalition that elects Republicans. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to see, you're an independent.
Right.
I'm a small L libertarian that has sometimes been a big L libertarian. But third parties, there's all sorts of reasons why they can't perform. But if we're talking about a social movement that walks away from the duopoly, I think that's what we have to do pretty much regardless. But if Thomas loses, I think you're going to see so much anger and frustration. It could be exactly the sort of thing that helped create the Republican Party,
right?
The party of Lincoln. So I think
they have to be very concerned about that. They have to be, unless it's so much hubris.
Well, it is, but the only thing they know to do is to destroy the guy that's sort of the figurehead of a movement.
Right.
That's how they play.
Right.
What they don't understand is it's not just about a guy.
Right. Right.
And that's frustrating because they can't.
What are they going to do with us?
They can't get all of us, right?
Right. We're so wily. We're nimble. We're like ninjas.
I always call it.
We come in, we come out. It's great.
Do you know the old thing on the Jersey Shore? You play whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
And they did this with the Tea Party. They were so frustrated, and the Tea Party ultimately died because it embraced leaders, and then the leaders got co-opted or taken out or whatever. If we are a powerful decentralized movement that learns how to get along with each other, it's hard to stop.
It's amazing. It's amazing. What about the pitfall, as we wrap this up, with movements? From observing human history, it seems to me that these type of things operate in cycles, movements, right? And being good and pure and effective and doing the right thing. And then you get fat, happy, lazy, you atrophy, and then you become the bad guys. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot of people would say, well, that's why I'm never going to get involved. That's why I'm never going to do anything, because anything you build is going to eventually get corrupted anyway.
Yeah.
I don't see that position. I think it's important to continue to build these movements, even knowing that at some point they might get corrupted. But is there a way to make that corruption moment much, much further away right? Like, you have been involved in these movements. Like, what are the pitfalls? What do people need to look out for when something like this happens, so that we can stay, rooted in principle and in truth and liberty for as long as possible?
Yeah, it's funny. Winning is the pitfall, and you look at these now beclowned MAGA influencers who were part of a movement that then became just a cash cow for them, and they just sell their influence now. That's a real problem.
Yeah.
With success, and the community has to do two things that sound contradictory. We have to police our community to make sure that people aren't violating those fundamental values, while being open to people who don't check all the boxes.
Right.
And I think that's more of an attitude than anything else. Like I want to turn people on that thought they hated everything I stood for.
Mm-hmm.
And then they see, like, so we made this documentary about Thomas Massey all these years ago.
So good.
Off the Grid.
So good. That was actually very groundbreaking. I mean, it was a beautiful documentary.
But it was made for people that weren't true believers.
Yeah.
And we test marketed it to Bernie Bros early on, and they were so confused because if you watch the film, you realize that this guy is green. He's a localvore.
Yeah.
He believes in community-based solutions to problems. And eventually you discover, oh, he's one of those Tea Party sons of bitches. And at that point, you have cognitive dissonance.
You tricked them.
And they're like, I like this guy.
Right.
So that's like, we should be welcoming and likable and just like this community. Most of these guys I haven't met before.
Okay.
Immediately welcoming.
Yeah.
And that's what sustains a community without abandoning the key things that matter.
Right.
And I can't tell you where that line is. We're going to have to figure that out together.
Yeah. Well, Matt Kibbe, thank you so much for coming. You did something courageous. We all, and you probably get a lot of flack. You have a lot of, friends that are connected to the administration, and I'm sure that you're getting a little pushback. But I think Thomas probably really appreciates that you're here with them, and we certainly, to have someone of your caliber with your experience, really just a forefather of movements like this. It's really special that you're here. And so thank you.
A recommendation, get some battle scars, because it makes you immune to attacks and it doesn't matter anymore. Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right, folks, Matt Kibbe, how can people follow you and support you?
At Matt Kibbe on Twitter, and go to freethepeople.org to see the Thomas Massey documentary and all sorts of other cool stuff that we do.
Amazing. They love you. We love you, Matt. Keep going. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much, my friend. We're going to go to a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to close out the show. I'm going to take all of your comments. I'm going to fix my camera. That's what I'm going to do. So keep it tuned right here. We will be back in a moment. It's at 123.com/joy. Everything that you're going to need for preparation. Dr. Kelly Victory is actually battling breast cancer right now, which is absolutely tragic, but it is her story, and she's going to tell her story in just a couple weeks. And she's one of the people that you would never, ever, ever see it coming. She did everything right? She exercised, she ate very clean, she avoided processed foods, she had zero symptoms when she went in for a routine mammogram in 2023. And she walked out of that mammogram with a diagnosis of aggressive cancer that could have been fatal, actually, if it was found later. So it revealed a hard truth for Kelly. Even healthy people get cancer. And it exposed a much bigger issue. Most modern medicine is reactive and not preventative. You wait for a scare until you start to care. And every day our bodies, as you all know, are under constant pressure from vaccines, as we know, stress, toxins, inflammation, and immune strain. The damage builds quietly over time, year after year, until disease starts to form. So we've talked about all types of ways to treat and prevent cancers. We've talked about ivermectin. We've talked about fasting. We've talked about, as you know, avoiding vaccines. That's one of my main preventative measures when it comes to cancers. But Dr. Kelly Victory asks a different question. What can we do to daily support, or what can we do daily to support the body before something goes wrong? Now, this led her to formulate a product called Shield. So Shield is a 2-part natural system. It's designed to support immune balance, antioxidant defense, and cellular health. Exactly the systems that you want to keep very strong to live a long, healthy life. In the morning, you drink a high-dose nutraceutical cocoa mix. Then with food, you take the soft gels. With ingredients like medicinal mushrooms, turmeric, green tea, olive leaf, berberine, and black cumin seed oil, Shield gives your body the tools it needs to keep your cells healthy. So right now, for the Joy audience, if you go to twc.health/joy, that's twc.health/joy, and use the promo code JOY, you'll get 10% off plus free shipping on all orders for U.S. residents. That's twc.health/joy, and make sure you use the promo code JOY to get 10% off plus free shipping. And by the way, you can use the promo code JOY for all of your purchases at twc.health/joy. They always have a discount for the Joy audience, and we are so thankful for their sponsorship. Dr. Kelly Victory is
This is Jennifer with darkbags.com. I wanted to show you one of our newest products from Escape Zone. This is our satellite Faraday sleeve. So it actually will fit your satellite phone, which we've noticed that there wasn't any product on the market that perfectly fit them, so we decided to make them ourselves. And it has this Velcro closure right here to close it up, and that makes this dust and water resistant. So what's nice about this Faraday pouch is that it'll protect against any EMPs. So your device is, your emergency device actually will always be protected in here as long as it stays in here. You can take it out for everyday use, but if you're not using it, we recommend that you store it in here. Again, this is available on darkbags.com.
What takes the mic?
Okay, everyone, welcome back to the Shannon Joy Show, last segment of the show. And isn't Matt Kibby great? Just a real courageous guy and such a great spirit. Again, the theme here, just passion and the fact that so many people, who want to pursue truth and want to pursue liberty and want common sense. We know that Washington, D.C. is so corrupt, and it's become more and more corrupt over time. And it seems like every time we put someone in to a position of power, they betray us. And I've been watching this Groundhog Day political hell as a presenter and a commentator for 13 years. This is the first time. Thomas Massie is really the first. I don't know if I disagree with any position that he's really taken over the past 10 years that he's been in office. So, this is truly historic. And I want to thank all of you for being with us today, especially our sponsors. I want to take a couple of chatters as we close out, but I do want to remind you guys, there's a lot happening in the economy right now. Gold and silver, they're on a run again. As you guys know, Peter Schiff, regular contributor on the Shannon Joy Show, has a lot to say about that. And Schiff Gold is a sponsor of the Shannon Joy Show. I can tell you there is in the discussion that I just had with Matt Kibby regarding the people that I choose to be guests and experts on the Shannon Joy Show, those whose content I promote, I'm always looking for two things. The first thing is expertise in their field, like the best expertise in their field. And the second thing is a willingness to tell the truth courageously, even when it's unpopular. And man, there is no one that gets attacked more, especially from the digital Bitcoin, meme coin, all of the digital money people, than Peter Schiff. He stands up for common sense economics, and he's been a guest on the Shannon Joy Show and a source for this show for almost 10 years, almost, since I launched my show. He's been so consistent. And that's why I'm so proud to have Peter Schiff and Schiff Gold as a sponsor. I buy my gold from Peter Schiff. He has some of the lowest spot prices for physical gold and silver in the market. And it's like a shopping cart. You go to his site, so go to schiffgold.com/joy. That is schiffgold.com/joy. And it's basically like shopping on Amazon. You go in and you pick the gold and you get some of the lowest spot prices, and then you check out. It's a super simple process, but he also has something for everyone. If you are concerned about where things are going and the profligate spending, and you have a retirement account, you have an IRA, and you're worried about the collapse of the dollar and the collapse of the economy and where that's going to leave you, also inflation, you can hedge against all of that with gold and silver. And so if you have investments that you want to move over a portion into a gold or silver-backed IRA, they can help you at schiffgold.com/joy. They also have options for people who don't have a ton of money to invest but want to begin to accumulate and acquire gold and silver on their own a little bit at a time. You can set up a recurring payment and purchase T-Gold, which is physical gold that you own. Only the difference is it's kept in custody with Peter Schiff and Schiff Gold. So you actually own it. They just have it in custody. And it's a really easy way. You avoid all of the shipping costs and all the insurances and all those things. And you can just begin to compile or pile up and stack your gold and silver. You can have it anytime you want, but it's a way that you can get it a little bit at a time. So $200 a month, $50 a month, $25 a month. If you want to get started on a gold and silver, path, that is the way to do it. Schiffgold.com/joy. Yes. We are going to be joining Kim Iverson in just a few minutes here, so I'm going to have to end the show. Tep70, great to see you on the live chat. Thank you again, Shannon, for being right there on the ground, showing us what's going on. Thomas Massey, 228. LT Oracle Truth, thank you for being with us. And thank you so much, Tep. I appreciate that. Yes, Ollie Robin 9, I will be joining Kim Iverson in, I think, just about 45 minutes. But we have to close up the show. We are past our time. Oh, I see you, P. Vecchio. We need sharp joy in New York State for 50 state ballot access to provide a pathway to strong third party in 2028. Hey, P. Vecchio, I appreciate you. Yes, I am running for lieutenant governor here in New York State alongside Larry Sharp, who is a libertarian and an independent, and we are right now in the petitioning process. We're going to go for it. If we don't get on the ballot this time, I think that we have assembled a large enough organization and attracted enough interest and support to maybe push this through and try it again. We want to get on that independent ballot line, and that is critical in finally giving New Yorkers a choice outside of the corrupt Judah party. So appreciate you, P. Vecchio, for reminding me about that. Larry Sharp with an E.com. That's Larry Sharp with an E.com if you want to support our efforts. So we're going to end the show here. I'm going to be back live again tomorrow. We're going to try for 12:15 p.m. Eastern time. It is election day. I am here live on the ground in Kentucky, bringing all of this to all of you, the behind the scenes, what's happening in the Get Out the Vote, what's happening with the smear campaigns that are being dumped on Thomas Massey. This is the biggest, most important election in the United States of America this year, and perhaps in the coming years. It has the potential to change everything. History is being made in Kentucky right now, and we're here for it on the Shannon Joy Show. So please support our efforts. In the show notes of the Shannon Joy Show, you can contribute to my independent organization to help keep the lights on here in the Shannon Joy Show. So many of you contribute on a regular basis. $10 a month, $20 a month is really helpful. It helps me to keep the lights on. So I want to thank all of you who are contributing to the SJ Show. Also, thank you to our sponsors, The Wellness Company, Peter Schiff and Schiff Gold, PCM and Associates, Don Polano, and of course our friends over at the Satellite Phone Store. I'm discerning when it comes to the creators and the guests I have on the Shannon Joy Show, and I'm also very discerning about my advertisers. And every advertiser, the Shannon Joy Show, is handpicked by me, and I have a long relationship with them. And so you can help me by helping them, becoming patrons. If you're in the market for any of their products or services, please patronize the advertisers of the Shannon Joy Show. That's how we can continue to grow. Thank you to Tiffany Cianci for all of her efforts here. Of course, Thomas Massie. If you are in the state of Kentucky, if you are in the 4th District or outside of the 4th District, we want you to join us. Come in here. There are tons of opportunities to meet Thomas. There's a lot of energy. We still need people on the ground. Get out, find a friend, grab your mom, grab your dad, your sister, your brother, get them to the polls. This is a turnout game, right? If we can turn out enough Kentuckians to vote in the primary tomorrow, Thomas Massie is going to win. So it is all hands on deck. We are going to be here through Election Day, and we're going to see this all the way through to a victory. So thank you to Tiffany and the team here, all of the great contributors. Matt Kibby, make sure you support him and his organizations. This is the beginning of something very, very momentous here in the United States of America. And it's all about liberty. It's about freedom. It's about common sense, about our Constitution, our Declaration of Independence, and the consent of the governed. We're fighting for that right now in Kentucky. And I'm so glad that you are all fighting with us. We'll be back tomorrow to do it all again, right here on the Shannon Joy Show.